Hi everyone, what if I told you that data stored only in RAM can survive an EC2 shutdown? Normally, when you stop an EC2 instance, everything in memory is lost. So if an application stores data in RAM, it's gone. But AWS has a feature called EC2 Hibernate where the instance stops but the entire memory state is preserved. AWS saves the RAM content to an encrypted root EVS volume and restores it when the instance starts again. Here, let me show you exactly what's happening under the hood. In this diagram, in figure number 1, we can see what happens before Hibernate. Here we see we have an EC2 instance denoted by this box. Inside this EC2 instance, we have a Redis server which will store key value data in RAM. RAM is denoted by this box. Here in RAM, we have key of demo and value of Hibernate works. We see we have an attached root EVS volume which should be encrypted. Moving to our next diagram, in this figure number 2, we can see we have the same EC2 instance which has a background color of gray to show that it's in a process of hibernation. You can see our state of RAM before memory is saved to EVS and after the memory is saved to EBS. You can see during this process the content of RAM is written to our EBS, so memory snapshot is saved to disk. After the snapshot is saved to the disk, our RAM gets empty. You can see from the note here that instance is in hibernated state but memory is preserved on our disk. Now let's move back to our figure number 3. Here it shows what happens when we resume our instance. You can see the memory snapshot from our root EVS volume is restored to our RAM. So our RAM now has key of demo and value of Hibernate works. Now let's prove this with a real demo using Redis and in-memory database. I'll store a value in memory, hibernate the instance, start it again, and we'll see if the data survives. Now that we are in the AWS console, let's open EC2. Inside this EC2 console, let's click Launch Instance. Give this instance a name. Let's select Amazon Linux as an AMI. For key pair, let's select Proceed without a key pair. Leave the network settings as default. Under Configure Storage, let's click Advanced. Let's open this volume 1 and under Encrypted, let's select Encrypted option. For KMS key, let's select Default AWS EBS. Scrolling down, let's click this Advanced Details section. Under Stop Hibernate Behavior, let's open this drop down and select Enable as we want our EC2 instance to have this Hibernate feature. So we selected Enable. Now let's click Launch Instance. Let's go back to our instances. Finally, we can see our server called Demo Hibernate Server has instance state of running and a status check of 3 out of 3 check passed. So let's click this instance ID, click Connect, and under EC2 Instance Connect, let's click Connect again. Now let's run a command. These commands will install and start Redis. Now let's press Enter to run the command. You see we have successfully executed the 2 commands. Now let's run a command again to connect to our Redis server using Redis command lines client, which will open an interactive cell. You see now we are in the interactive cell. Now let's create a key value pair in Redis. With this Redis command, we create a key value pair in Redis with key of demo and value of Hibernate works. So let's press Enter to execute. We see we got back OK. So our Redis command is executed successfully. Now let's read back our data from memory by running the command So this Redis command will fetch our value for our key of demo. So let's run this. You see, we got back value of Hibernate works. At this point, the data exists only in RAM. If I normally stop this instance, this value would be lost. Now let's see what happened when we hibernate the instance. Let's close this EC2 instance connect and let's go back to our instances. We have this demo Hibernate server being selected. Now under the instance state drop down, let's open this and see we have this option of Hibernate instance. So let's click Hibernate instance, click Hibernate. So let's wait till the instance get hibernated. Now in the instance state, you might be puzzled to see the instance state as stopped, but in AWS, Hibernate is a type of stop. The console always shows the instance state as stopped even if you used Hibernate. So even if the instance state is stopped, actually it's in a Hibernate in our case. Now let's go back to the instance state and click Start Instance again. Now we can see that we have instance state of running again after the Hibernate state. So let's click Connect. Under EC2 Instance Connect, let's click Connect again. Let's open up Redis interactive cell. In this interactive cell, let's execute a Redis command called get demo. And there it is. It shows that when the instance resumed, AWS restored that memory back into RAM. This is why EC2 Hibernate is powerful for a stateful workload. Now that we have completed the demo, I will terminate the EC2 instance so we won't keep paying for it. Let's move back to our EC2 console. Under instance state, let's select terminate delete instance. Let's click terminate delete. Termination deletes the instance and its root volume so you won't incur further charges. If this helped you understand EC2 hibernation better, give this video a like. Subscribe for more hands-on AWS demo like this. Thanks for watching. I will see you in the next one.